Like 1 month ago, world tension felt like it was at 24%, but as of recent events, it's feeling like it's gone up a bit. And I feel like this 35% number is pretty accurate. Let's just hope China doesn't increase it to 100%, causing World War III. Most confusing European war. Lots of straight front lines you can follow on a map. Large area, measure distance in kilometers and miles. Clear good guys and bad guys, blue and red for simplicity. Versus least confusing Middle Eastern war. Super complicated, can't even see the map under the icons. Symbols are orange and red. Toyotas everywhere. Very small area. Confusing maps. This is where my map dyslexia really causes problems. Britain watching as the funny lines they drew 100 years ago turns into a war zone once again. What is this, like the 7th time this decade? Who could have guessed drawing random straight lines in this region would cause so many problems? Let's invade Ukraine. A year and a half later, I surrender. I am cold. Please feed me. Ah yes, just a quick military operation. What else is new? Rogue Russian pilot tried to shoot down RAF jet. Meanwhile, the Article 5 enthusiasts, we were this close. I don't know how I feel about Article 5 enthusiasts. I feel like we shouldn't be trying to push the red button that causes WW3. Marriage and family. In 1925, in his first yada yada, I don't care, take off your shoes, we're gonna go over my theorized combined arms warfare plans. Which, by the way, I might add, is way more romantic. We can bond over who has the best military doctrine. Are you winning, son? Says Stalin. Meanwhile, modern Russia, who's been in this battle for over a year now, compared to Stalingrad, which was only 5 months. It was supposed to be an easy PR victory. It's gonna be extremely difficult to compete with the Stalingrad PR victory. Probably impossible. Russia watching Armenia surrender to Azerbaijan after 1 day while they're on their 574th day of their 3-day victory. I guess Russia should have really been taking some notes. If I had a nickel for every time China abandoned a submarine crew in my lifetime, I'd have 3 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened 3 times. Imagine being a submarine crew that literally just got abandoned by your government. You set out anti-submarine defenses to ensnare snooping Western subs. One of your defense registers a successful interception. It's a nuclear attack submarine. It's your nuclear attack submarine. You can't rescue it, and you're too proud to ask NATO for help. Your crew of 55 are poisoned or suffocated by your own defenses. Ah yes, talk about another day, another banger. Maybe it's best if we just kind of sweep this one under the rug. Meanwhile, Paris preparing for the 2024 Olympics. I guess they're just giving away free bed bugs. And I was actually fortunate enough to witness this for myself. There is literally a bed bug pandemic going on in this city right now. They're apparently on public transit, in movie theaters, in airports, and obviously in homes. And I was in Paris last week. I was extremely paranoid. I was eaten by bed bugs, but it actually wasn't in Paris. That was actually in Rome, Italy for some reason. I feel like I'm honestly traumatized from that experience. My closest encounter with the mafia is when I went to a starkly empty place in Rhode Island. They seemed utterly confused that I wanted a pizza. It took 45 minutes to make. They gave it to me for free, and it was the best pizza I'd ever had. Didn't know the mafia was still using pizza joints in Rhode Island to launder money. It's like a blast from the past. When the French invite you over for dinner versus when the Germans invite you over for a dinner. They clearly like to tackle this a little bit differently. Does this have something to do with German efficiency or something like that? I will admit the goal of dinner is to eat, and this seems to be a lot of non-eating happening here. Most successful Spanish colony versus least successful British colony. I honestly don't know who got disrespected more here. Is it Spain and all of Spain's former colonies, or the entire nation of Australia? Out of all the least successful British colonies you could have chosen, I didn't expect to see Australia. Let me try this thing out, says the leader of France. EU budget rules. 109% of public debt, but it's the French budget, so it's fine. Works a little bit differently because it's France. The US Navy sailing into the Strait of Taiwan at the start of WW3, blasting the most pants-pooping scary drill rap imaginable on every radio frequency at the same exact time. I gotta admit, I'm a fan of the song Fortunate Son during the Vietnam War, but this does sound a little bit more intimidating. China won the Korean War by driving back the UN and preserving North Korea. Yeah, but China's later offenses to reunify Korea all failed. South Korea has more territory north of the 38th parallel. The UN's Resolution 84 was to repeal any invasion of South Korea. That was fulfilled 3 times. 2/3, nearly 15,000 of Chinese POWs defected to Taiwan. Meanwhile, only 21 Americans and 1 Brit defected to China. That is a crazy statistic. The war forced Mao to postpone invading Taiwan. China's best troops were sent to Korea instead. Mao's son oofed from a napalm strike in the 1950s. Thus, the Korean War resulted in a stalemate, favoring the UN and USA. This is called a victory. I mean, there's definitely pluses and minuses that both sides received here. A stalemate or slight victory might be the best way to describe it. Soviet Russia attacking Poland on January 3rd, 1919. Do you yield? Poland, that just regained its independence on November 11th, 1918 after 123 years of partitions. I do not, they respond. A war not nearly talked about enough because Poland ended up getting the dub. Yes, that's right. Poland did defeat Russia. That's probably around the same point they started selling entire globes with nothing but the country of Poland on them. The Earth is the largest rock that any of us will ever stand on. So I'll never understand rock climbers. By standing on Earth, you have stood on the biggest rock. You're done. You've peaked. You don't have to keep climbing rocks. Unnecessary. He has a point. We all are already the greatest rock climbers ever. And I've been doing this since the day I've been born. Me waking up after not reading the terms and conditions. I have been sent to the Bulgarian salt mines. It's like 1,000 times worse than Russian gulags. I'm sorry, but even if I knew I was going to be sent to the Bulgarian salt lines, I'm not going to read your like 10-page essay. I got better things to do. She was a Roman Empire girl. He was an Ottoman Empire boy. I mean, what else can you say but opposites attract sometimes? Although I'm not exactly sure if it's gonna work in this instance. That was the leader of Turkey, and this is the leader of Italy. The Croatian economy, if German tourists didn't exist. It literally just all dries up. Although this would make their beaches even nicer, wouldn't it? Alright, I just have to admit this. I'm gonna say something really controversial right now. I have not been that impressed by the beaches in Europe. I'm sorry. I will admit this does look pretty nice. When Turkey, Greece, and Serbia all get together, the United Nations fears this. This literally is their Joker moment. All 3 of these places just love to introduce a little bit of chaos. Bosnians in Yugoslavia. Ooh, this looks pretty nice. Meanwhile, Bosnians without Yugoslavia. Things have obviously changed. I mean, let's not forget there was a little event that happened to Bosnia during the fall of Yugoslavia, which, yeah, kind of had really bad effects on Bosnia. Trying to find something Turkish in Turkey. We have some Greek statues. We have some more Greek god archaeologies. Greek. Okay, I basically get it. Okay, I understand. Wait, this video goes on for literally 51 seconds with so many different examples. The oldest university in Slovakia, named after a Czech teacher. Yeah, gonna have to admit, this isn't really surprising, especially if it's the oldest university in Slovakia. Slovakia has only been independent for a few decades. Obviously, it's gonna have a whole ton of references to the Czechs. In Finland, the word, not gonna pronounce that, means to get drunk at home alone in your underwear. That is way too oddly specific, Finland. Clearly, this is happening so much that they had to create a word for it. I don't know how to feel about that. Meanwhile, the Latin languages family. We have Daddy Latin right here from the Roman Empire. Then, of course, there's Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese. Oh, and this one, yeah, Romanian. If you couldn't tell, one is not like the others. Every language got the European country that claims to speak the correct version of the language. We've seen the meme version with English and Spanish, but this one's including Portuguese. Larger country that speaks an older dialect. Temperamental island people, and finally, of course, unintelligible mountain people. Chile, Scotland, and is that Angola? Always forget Angola's official language is Portuguese. I mean, I remember it was colonized by Portugal, but yeah, I forget they speak this language down there. Gotta love the audacity we have to go to London, sing the anthem that's literally about beating them in a war before our game with a name we stole from a different sport they invented. This is referring to American football and the NFL, which occasionally holds games in London. Actually, I was there there in London for one of these games last week too, I remember thinking, why is everyone wearing NFL jerseys here? I was actually kind of surprised to see the support the UK had. Maybe don't show them this meme though. A Ukrainian officer's captured Russian tank wasn't working, so he called tech support in Russia. IT department, have you tried turning it off and on again? Oh, is that how they fix these things in Russia? Wait a second, how exactly do you turn off and on a tank? Oh, apparently there's an ignition switch and a starting switch. I figured it wouldn't be keys, but it somewhat works like a car. Average warfare fan versus average diplomacy enjoyer. That's one way Europe decides to go about it, and I think we should all be happy about that, because when Europe doesn't do this, they send the whole world to chaos. Problem solving with different European countries. Now, I've seen the very old classic version of this meme, but apparently it received an update. There's the Dutch, which have a problem, use these 3 things, and then believe there is no problem, man. There's Luxembourg, who has a problem, stash their money away into some different banks around the world, or some of their very own banks, and that's how they come up with a solution. There's Germany, when they have a problem, they do something back and forth with this building, add a couple of euros and years and something. France, when they have a problem, riot, kind of a solution, riot again, revolution. When Italy has a problem, just kind of scream at each other. I think they actually just have more problems. When Spain has a problem, search for a job, sleep more. Maybe search for a job, I guess the problem's still there. Portugal problem, oh, this is the only thing they have labeled. Greece with their problems, it's just a long straight line to Ireland with their problem. Literally nothing has changed here, that's the same. I guess they can't see it now, so that's good. Denmark's problem, unintelligible screaming, okay, yes. Norway's problem, moving around the polar bear, trying not to get eaten, ski all the way down, there you go. Sweden's problem, Finland's problem, they kind of just, well, Iceland's problem. Cure, is this sugar, wait 6 months solution. Okay. Switzerland, when they have a problem, it's just stash your money away in a bank and profit. They've been using that strategy for a while. Austria's problem, just go into the bunker. Wales, when they have a problem, okay. Finally, when England has a problem, go up these stairs, jump off, and yeah, well, they tried at least to fix it. I can't say the same about some of these other places. And big thanks to my patrons this month. Drew, I'm your dad, back with the milk. Look outside. KirinoIsBestGirl. The clone's training is complete and is
Fredrik
approaching.
Tibblin,
Sleep without Australia is real.
InquisitorXarius,
The Great Ralphy.
Traven's annoying friend,
Sebby, if you hear this, I love you.
GoodOldRyah,
The Mexican 76510.
NorWal,
RyeThePie.
Carmel
LuxembourgLover. And why am I doing this?